felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Matrix. The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window, or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
The gentleman in the elevator now is a candid star. These folks who are entering, the man with the white shirt, the lady with the trench coat, and subsequently one other member of our staff, will face the rear. And you'll see how this man in the trench coat tries to maintain his individuality, but little by little, he looks at his watch, but he's really making an excuse for turning just a little bit more to the wall. Now we'll try it once again. Here's the candid subject. Here comes the candid camera staff, 3 of them at least. And this man has apparently been in groups before.
We know that we're asking Americans to do a lot right now. So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible to this virus.
A question I often get asked is, why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
Social distancing is really physical separation of people.
It's what we refer to when we ask people to stay at least 6 feet apart.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, not going to theaters where there are a lot of people. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others who might actually be infected or infect you.
We all have a role to play in preventing person-to-person spread of this disease, which can be deadly for vulnerable groups.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
More stores are adopting new rules that had some people dealing with long lines outside. KPXY's Kenny Choi live in San Francisco with how people are dealing with all this. Hey, Kenny.
Brian, good evening to you. You could see the long line here at the Trader Joe's on Hyde Street in California. Of course, grocery stores like this one implemented policy changes weeks ago to make sure that people are social distancing, keeping 6 feet apart. But with the guidelines constantly changing these days, major retailers like Walmart and Target have some new rules in place starting this weekend to make sure that they're controlling what's happening not only outside their stores, but inside as well. Lines at some stores are getting longer.
It's taking a lot longer to get in today. So we've been in line, I think, almost a half hour.
This line at Trader Joe's on Hyde Street wrapped around the corner and down the street. It's a familiar sight at this location and stores all across the country.
All the
with his hat on in the elevator. First, he makes a full turn to the rear, and Charlie closes the door. A moment later, we'll open the door. Everybody's changed positions. Now we'll see if we can use group pressure for some good. Now, in a moment, on Charlie's signal, everybody turns forward. Notice they take off their hats. And now, do you think we could reverse the procedure? Watch.
Are you crazy? Or just plain stupid?
To answer that question, we set up a hidden camera experiment to see if this woman would stand up at the sound of this tone, simply because everyone else is. You might be thinking you'd never go along with this. Or would you? After just 3 beeps, and without knowing why she's doing it, this woman is now conforming perfectly to the group. But what happens if we take the group away?
Elaine, please.
Okay, now she's alone. The crowd is gone and nobody is watching her, except our hidden cameras. What do you think she'll do? She's now conforming to the rules of the group without them even being there. Now, watch what happens when we introduce another outsider who doesn't know the rules.
Have a seat and they'll be out in just a couple minutes. Great, thanks so much.
Everybody was doing it, so I thought I was supposed to.
Think she'll teach the new guy what to do?
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber. No way! That's great!
We landed on the moon!
And they just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story! Man, and they're buying it!
This is General William Sullivan with an emergency message. I'm speaking to you from a CDC clean zone. Outbreak of the deadly Pandora virus is spreading rapidly. Unprecedented threat requires a worldwide quarantine. All ships must remain at sea until further. Humanity must endure.
A virus? We're stuck on the ship! What should we do?
They're buying it. They're buying it. Chillingly plausibly indeed, Joe Morgenstern of the Wall Street Journal.
And they're buying it!
Ah! Oh no! We're stuck here!
Woo! Vacation forever!
Good morning, everyone, as we greet a sunny day 12 after virus. While the world deals with their pandemic, we're having a fun-demic under the capable hands of our Norwegian Captain Svalbard.
I always knew mankind's hubris would doom us all.
Yeah, he spoke of it often.
Once we reach our exciting and hopefully virus-free destination, romantic Antarctica, our activities will include building shelter, hunting for food, and starting civilization anew. While supplies may be running a little low, not to worry, as today's delicious buffet features fresh seagull and hull-scraped barnacles. In the Chuckles Comedy Club, we have Joey Scazzazone with his no longer observational take on our pre-virus lives.
Hey, so what's the deal with how many Starbucks there used to be, huh? I don't know why that bothered me so much. Hug your kids.
Need a break? Then don't check out the Sensations Luxury Spa, which is now the stronghold of charismatic cult leader Dave the Lifeguard.
Mankind was warned not to run near the pool. Mankind did not listen. The virus is his reward.
So remember, rule number 1 is always have fun, because fun is the only thing that will keep us alive. Fun!
Thank you guys for being patient. Just a quick...
Major retailers like Target, Walmart, and Home Depot this weekend implemented some new rules to customers in line and inside its stores.
Everyone's very polite.
The associates seem very nice and pleasant, and, you know,
Good to see.
yeah, we're trying to go out of our way to be especially nice to them, because they're here for us.
Target will meter guest traffic and limit occupancy based on each of its 1,900 stores across the country. At this location on Geary Boulevard, just 170 people were allowed inside at a time.
Worthless, worthless, worthless.
Hey guys, can you believe how awesome this is? If it wasn't for this virus thing, we'd all be back at our old sucky lives. And instead, you're here, where you can be lovey-dovey all the time. Come on, kiss! Kiss!
Bart, we're too worried to enjoy each other's mouths.
Yeah, and the customer service on this cruise has really gone downhill.
Drop dead, fat ass!
Last week, that steward brought me extra shampoo. He called me lovely lady.
Hey, Lise, at least you nerds are still geeking it up. What could be sweeter than a vacation that never ends?
Sweet? Sweet? The passengers on this ship could be the last people on Earth. Like monks during the Dark Ages, it's up to the Kid Zone elite to make a record of human culture. This group is adapting children's classics for the stage to entertain generations of survivors.
And they're buying it! Talk about a fish story! And they're buying it! And they're buying it! Talk about a fish story!
Oh, yeah.
And they're buying it!
Eric, we must work with the humans.
You are so naive, Charles. We should rule them as conquerors.
Can't anybody enjoy their forever vacation? Check it out. The gallery was going to throw these paintings overboard like they were worthless garbage.
Bart, glad you're here. We're all gonna watch a movie together.
Yeah, movie! It is about time you guys started having some fun.
Humanity must endure.
General, it's worse than we thought. The virus is getting bigger.
I have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad.
Bart, how could you?
Gotta go.
Man, I kicked butt in the gladiator arena today. I won the last package of hot dogs on the ship, but I got robbed by marauders on the way home.
There is no virus. Bart.
And they're buying it.
My life has value!
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors, leading you down into my core, where I become so numb without a soul. My spirit sleeping somewhere cold until you find it there and lead it back home. Wake me up inside, wake me up inside, call my name and save me from the dark. Bring my blood to run before I come undone. Save me from the nothing I've become. Now that I know what I'm without, you can't just leave me. Breathe into me and make me real. Bring me to life. Wake me up inside, wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark. Bring my blood to run before I come undone. Save me from the nothing I've become. Bring me to life. Bring me to
The wheels within wheels with eyes all around. Would you like to see the eyes and the wheels all around and the eyes all over the wheels? I'll show you those eyes. Here are the wheels with the eyes. The stars, the hosts of heaven, God's creation, the ones, each star has its name, as it says in the scripture. God says, I have named them all. These are the eyes. These are the eyes on the wheels. Our stars. I just can't help but to quote from Isaiah 40:26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power. not one faileth. This is what people have been missing this whole time, and it's been right in front of our faces in the scripture. This is what God was showing Ezekiel. The wheels within the wheels are the belts that surround Earth. NASA calls them the Van Allen belts. These are the invisible belts of magnetic energy within the torus. They keep everything in motion, everything moving like a fine-tuned clock. All the eyes that Ezekiel saw was the stars. All the stars are created by God. They are the luminaries. That is what makes up all the eyes that is being spoken of. What Ezekiel saw was the absolute pure beauty of our home that God created for us. This is what Satan wants you blinded to. This is the absolute magnificence that Satan doesn't want you to see. This is why they mockingly show you that image in Game of Thrones and other movies, the wheels within the wheels over the flat plain earth. They're showing you the truth right in front of your face, and they laugh because you don't understand and you don't see. This is the beauty. This is the sheer absolute beauty of the world that God created, and He called it good. Now that you have eyes to see and ears to hear, now let me tell you this. These wheels that we see, these bands that move like a clock, this is how the sun and the moon do what they do. This explains their movements. It's all about magnetic energy. It's all about the magnetic fields. This is how they're frictionless and how they move in perfect unison. And just as it states in the book of Enoch, through the movement of these wheels, we see how the sun and moon will go through their vaults and rise and return in different areas. This is what the globe has blinded people to. The absolute truth of what God said all along. It has been here the whole time in the scriptures. Instead, we choose to listen to NASA. Instead, we choose to listen to the idiot box. Instead, we choose to listen to scientists, and we heap amongst ourselves teachers that teach us absolute lies to keep us in the dark. When God's been saying the whole time, just look up. Look up at what surrounds you. I made this for you. That's all God wanted to say. Just take a look. I'm here. I am right above you. You can take comfort knowing that when you step outside and gaze up into that starry wonder of God's creation, just know that our Father in heaven is sitting up there right now, staring down at all of us, watching our every move. He knows everything that's going on down here. He has not missed anything. And just know and be comforted by the fact that our Father is right there, and He's been there this whole time. This is something that the world and NASA and the scientists can never take from us, ever. Even the lying powers and signs of Satan that are coming, the lies of the fallen angels and the lies of the world that are going to be ever increasing, will still not rob this from my heart. And they will never rob from me my faith in Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.